Hey, this is Ryan Treasure with SpeakingEmpire.com, leader in live internet talk radio, coming to you right here from sunny Irvine, California at the Speaking Empire event. The weather is beautiful. I don't think we could probably ask for anything better unless maybe we were at the beach.
Hey, it's par for the course in Southern California. That's why we live here.
Agreed. Well, I'm sitting right here with Greg Ryder, very interesting individual, as we were kind of talking off camera, about markets and, different things that are going on in the economy. And, I'm going to let him kind of tell you his background, where he comes from and what your business is.
Oh, that's a good. You're going to give me that mic too. I got to get on stage. I'm going to be walking around. We're at the Speaking Empire, right? No, I'm the CEO of a company called Angel Investors Network. And he asked me what I do. And I said, do you ever watch Shark Tank TV show? And he's like, of course, I love that show. And it's like, well, that's what we do, right? I'm a big, huge free enterprise and capitalistic fan. I was born into a really wealthy family. You ever heard of the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Oh, yeah. Okay, so I tell people that book was written about me, and if you know Kiyosaki, tell him to start sending royalties, because that book literally was written about me. But my parents...
I do know him.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, we're SpeakingEmpire.com. That's what we do. We do talk radio. We do radio with all those guys.
I want my royalties, right? So my parents got divorced when I was 3. I went to live with my mom. I had the stepdad and the half-brothers and the stepdad and the half-brothers, stepdad and half-brothers visit my dad. And I tell people the best way to describe that growing up as a child was when I went out to dinner with my stepdad and my half-siblings, the bill was maybe $80. I'd go visit my dad and go out to dinner with my dad, and the tip was $200, right? And my dad taught me to invest and got me into investing when I was 19 years old. I got my securities license, and I ended up becoming an owner of a broker-dealer. I bought the firm I worked for because I read the book Think and Grow Rich, and I ended up buying the firm I worked for at the age of 21. So I was the youngest owner of a full-service investment bank in the history of the country. Wow. And that was my first big mistake in life. But the street smarts that I got from that and getting in with my dad and learning innovation, and we funded Home Shopping Network. Everyone's heard of Home Shopping Network. We raised them their original seed capital. Now, if you can imagine me calling you up, you said you're 35?
Yeah, my mother, or my wife's grandmother, I swear, watches that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Every time we go over there for Sunday dinners, Home Shopping Network, we get stuff just randomly shipped to our house. It's amazing.
So imagine this. So I'm 22, at that time I was like 24. I call you up, I go, Ryan, you got to invest in this deal. Now, mind you, this is like the early 80s, like 1982, 83. And I'm like, Ryan, you got to invest in this deal. Well, what is it? Well, it's called Home Shopping Network. They're going to sell stuff on the television, 7/24, 365. And you go, Ryder, you're crazy. No one's going to buy anything off the television, right? Cable was just coming out. Credit cards had never been accepted over the phone and on television ever before. But, to have that insight and to believe in an entrepreneur and to fund them, you've heard the term trickle-down economics, right?
Absolutely.
Here's what really trips my trigger. I call it torrential downpour economics. And when and visualize this for a second. Visualize a 20-year-old guy raising $600,000 for Home Shopping Network back in the early 80s. And that $600,000 turned into this, turned into that. And you think about the torrential downpour economics of jobs, from shipping to manufacturers to producers to TV to production to cameras to lights. All those jobs were created because one guy believed in another guy, and we raised him capital to get going. Right? And another great example of that is the iPhone. I actually tell people, if it wasn't for the iPhone, our company might have collapsed altogether. Right? You look at the iPhone, and sure, the iPhone's been successful, and it's made Apple one of the most valuable corporations in the world. But look at the tens of thousands of byproducts, from apps to covers to EarPods, all the things that plug in, and accessories to the iPhone, and all the jobs from the drivers driving it to the manufacturers that created.
I feel as passionate as you're talking right now. I work in a .com industry at SpeakingEmpire.com, and it's very much the same way. We're talking about .com companies who maybe might have started off with one individual who owned a domain who was putting out services or whatever on their website. But Voice America is a prime example of torrential downpour, because when we first started, and the owner of the company, Jeff Spinard, had this vision of let's do talk radio on the internet in 1999. Who thought of that? Nobody. Right? And so here we are, 15 years later, and there's 50 employees and 8 channels, and all from which started from a guy who talked to a guy who wanted to do talk radio online, and now he's employing, a nice sector of people in Phoenix, Arizona, who...
And the millions of people you guys touch every day, right?
So I totally, really are on the same wavelength as you with that torrential downpour idea. I think it's absolutely phenomenal.
So take that concept, right? And you say, okay, so what do entrepreneurs need, right? They think they need capital. right? And sometimes they do need capital, right? But the question is, are they worthy of capital? Because really what they really need is knowledge, expertise, board members, team, manufacturing, distribution, prototyping. They need those things that attract money. So at Angel Investors Network, I said, I want to help entrepreneurs succeed and create wealth. That's our mission, is to help entrepreneurs succeed and create wealth. So we have a network of C-level, high-level people that can help fill all these needs, right? And to bring the entrepreneur what they need to succeed. And then when they do that, they become worthy of investors' money. So you go back to Shark Tank, and how many people get on Shark Tank and the sharks turn them down, because it's not worthy of their money? Well, and those are the 400 people out of the 800,000 or whatever it was that applied to get on the show, right? So that's part A.
Well, and let me just stop you right there. And I think, when you talk about worthy of the money, especially when you look at Shark Tank, I think, and a lot of it has nothing to do with the product. Because a lot of times those people, they come on board and their product is a good product, but 9 times out of 10, the problem is the person,
right?
And maybe some of their own roadblocks, and going into not just needing capital, because I think a lot of times if you infuse somebody with capital, but they are not ready for that capital, or they're not structured in a manner to use it correctly, they're ultimately going to fail anyways.
Right. And that's where, if you've ever heard the term friends, families, and fools, the 3 F's of investing, right? The fools come from that exact thing, right? Because they got money from their friend, their family member, and they didn't really know what they were doing. They didn't seek the advice. They didn't seek the counsel, right? And what's the difference between advice and counsel? Counsel, somebody's been there, done that. They can counsel them and coach them along the way. So that's really important. And then the next thing is, with the success of Shark Tank, right? Now you have people watching the show going, I want to be a shark. So at Angel Network, we publish a newsletter, a membership site, where you can invest alongside with us, but we'll do the due diligence. We'll teach you how to do due diligence. We'll teach you how to structure deals, how to look at deals, and to get that. Like, I can look at a deal and literally in minutes, an intuition tells me whether it's worth my time or not. Because I've looked at thousands of deals. And that's your thing. When you start looking at deal flow, you start having deal flow, what you might think is a great deal is really not that great, because it's like you're only looking at 5 deals, but when you're looking at 500 deals, it's a different ball game, which is what Shark Tank, they made a TV show about, right? They looked at 80,000 deals to put 400 people on TV. So to me, what we're all about is just an education-based company to teach entrepreneurs how to raise capital, how to build a successful company, how to create wealth, how to succeed, teach investors how to invest in these entrepreneurs, how to mentor them, how to help them, how to coach them without losing your shirt, right? And at the same time, what are we doing? Our vision is to perpetuate capitalism and free enterprise.
Well, I can't say it any better than you can. That was absolutely phenomenal. I think the most important thing is, let's tell everybody where they can find you guys online, maybe phone number, email, address, all that good stuff, so that way we can drive some of these listeners on Voice America. We have guys on the Empowerment Channel who are, up and coming entrepreneurs, or, they're entering in, their first business phase, or, those types of things. So where could they go to seek out your advice if they need it?
Yeah, so angelnetwork.com, just angelnetwork.com, and from there you can find our directory, our events calendar, our blog, everything about us. You can apply if you're an entrepreneur and you're looking for capital. You can apply right there. If you're an investor and you want to join our network, you can apply right there with us. We're continuing to grow our investor network. We're continuing to grow. We got thousands of entrepreneurs coming in the pipeline, and what we're looking for too, if I don't mind, is that we're looking for C-level executives. You're a person you're financially well off. You don't need money to live, to survive. And you love free enterprise, you love capitalism, you're willing to help entrepreneurs. I'm building a network of those type of C-level executives.
You took my next question from me, by the way.
Did you?
Yeah, my next question was going to say, so besides the investing component, where can somebody go for advice?
See? That's a marketing guy.
Thanks for doing my job.
Yeah, that's perfect, right? That's awesome. So we're looking for those executives that raise their hand and go, look, I'll help entrepreneurs for revenue share, for equity, or maybe reduce fees and equity or revenue share. So the idea is, again, we get the entrepreneurs the help they need. And again, you might be an expert from a software company. You might be an expert from a biotech company. You might be an expert from a manufacturing or apparel company, or whatever that sector is. We have entrepreneurs that need help in all those areas. So you're not going to take equity or revenue share to help an entrepreneur as a C-level executive in a sector you're not familiar with. So you only got to look at the deals, and you have to do it. It's just we want you to do it. So it's all about giving the entrepreneurs the help they need to succeed. Let's keep America great. Let's perpetuate free enterprise and capitalism.
Well, absolutely. You guys heard it. AngelNetwork.com. Go check it out. For all of you entrepreneurs looking for some investment capital, or even if you're just looking for some advice from somebody who's been there and done that to help guide you through, AngelNetwork.com. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it, man.
Right. Thank you.